You gonna put the corsage on Nana, James?
You found where you but the tables are, the numbers aren't necessarily in order, but they're correct. You know, they're correct.
Hey Dan.
How you doing?
Good.
Good. Good to see you.
Yeah, good to see you too.
Yeah, it's fine. It's just, you know, I picture.
Hey Sahava.
Hi, Buzzy.
How you doing?
Good, good. How are you?
Good.
David did not come here today for us. He must have gone the other way.
Long time.
James, can I take a picture while you do this?
That was Rosalie's maiden name, of course.
I see, yes. Do you live in
Right outside, in Elkins Park.
Oh, the other way.
That's right, the northern suburbs. Yeah. We always got along beautifully.
Good.
James, can I see your face a little bit? There you go.
Yeah.
It's funny, we were downtown about 3 weeks ago. We passed by your studio there.
Hey Rosie, how you doing, boss?
She's very nice.
How are you? Good to see you.
Looks like your son, I did not recognize.
Yeah, he's a big guy now. Yeah. Hi, how you doing? Good to see you. She's standing over there.
Oh, okay. And we'll
Hi there. Good, good. Hi, how you doing? I'm busy walking around being the cameraman. Hi.
You're going to take us eating, aren't you?
Absolutely.
Back again?
Free food and look what happens.
I'm saying, I was in Harleysville last week.
Hello, Buster.
How you doing? Yeah.
I haven't seen you for a couple of years. I'm a long-time friend of Rosalie.
Good to see you. What's your name
Nice
again?
to see you. Bernice Luke.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Have it easy if you want. 300 a week.
Oh, Robin, the salad here is really good.
Right.
butter on it.
Joshua.
Whatever it is. This is for your camera. I forgot my video camera. So I'm relying on you guys.
I don't think
Hi.
Hello. How are you?
Good.
Rich, you already worked this day.
What?
Rich, you already worked this day.
Just a second, Joy. What do you want to do? Go over and help Mommy and Papa. How's your sister doing? She's doing good? She's very cute.
He's still teaching in school. It's funny. We had a survey.
Joy. Yes. Come here. Come here. You can wear this and walk around the room for a minute or two and film it. Put your hand in there. Just walk around and you take pictures of people. Go ahead.
Hi. Happy birthday, Nana. Can I see what? Here's my mom.
Things that they don't.
Yeah, what? I got
Have I seen Joshua? No, I haven't seen Joshua. Oh, wait a second. We had to put Daniel up like that.
We had him there Monday. She was saying
As soon as Richie goes to the bathroom. He wanted to talk first, okay?
I'd just like to share with you a little bit of information about Rosalie's life. In the early 1920s, Joseph Blackman and Bertha Blackman, who were born in Latvia and Ukraine respectively, were married. In 1927, they had a son named Daniel. Not a whole lot to tell you about him. But they also had a daughter named Rosalie. Rosalie, in her first house, she lived on Parkside Avenue in Winfield, and then after that moved to Logan and settled on Shelton Avenue in Logan.
And she,
Oh, I'm sorry.
and she's just coming back with the chocolate cake now. The story's interesting, but not as good as the chocolate cake.
She attended Kinsey Elementary School.
Yay!
And Wagner Junior High School. Yes.
What do you think Johnny gets it?
Her brother Dan told me that throughout her childhood, she was always kind to him, and they never experienced any major arguments. That's interesting because it appears that a lot of her personality characteristics were formed very early in her, and that those same personality traits have endured for her throughout her life and have been a tremendous example to her children. Many of you know that she's very, very sweet. You may not know that she's also a very, very persistent and very, very stubborn person. That's all right. young girl, there was a guy who lived on her block who was a bully who used to like to push around and pick on some of the kids on the block. One day when he was picking on some of the kids and he was older than Rosalie, Rosalie confronted him and actually smacked him in the face. As the story goes, the bully never bothered the kids on the block again. Although she never argued with her brother, she was capable of being very persistent about a point that she believed in very strongly. She loved to study at the kitchen table while her mother was cooking dinner. However, her father, who was quite anal retentive, did not believe that contaminated books should be sitting on the kitchen table. And on many occasions they had arguments about that. However, as I understand it, Rosalie never lost that argument and was able to continue to study on the kitchen table. She graduated from Gratz High School in 1943 and only 3 years later graduated from the University of Pennsylvania. After she graduated, she became a substitute teacher in Philadelphia, which is very interesting because when her daughter Joy graduated college, she also, as her first job, became a substitute teacher. It should also be mentioned that the same university that she went to, University of Pennsylvania, was a school that her daughter Michelle chose to go to. From 1946 until 1949, she worked for AT&T. And during that time, if I'm correct, she lived at home. One day during that time, a young man who had lived in the neighborhood returned to her home with a book that he had borrowed from her father. It was pointed out to me by someone, and Rosalie did not deny this story, that all during the time that she was in college, she had a date virtually every weekend. She was considered so desirable by the men. However, this particular guy who returned the book to the house to her father, by coincidence, happened to time it so that he returned it at a time when Rosalie was home. A short time later, she attended services at a local synagogue out of Israel, and after the services were over, while she was walking out of the synagogue, the same gentleman, whose name was Sam, was waiting for her. And he struck up a conversation with her and invited her to join him for a very romantic date. Their first date was a rally for presidential candidate Harry Truman. They continued to date, and a short time later, he proposed to her, and she accepted. They were so excited that they rushed home to tell her father about the news and to ask him for permission. However, her father was very, very busy, and he did things in a certain designated order, and he refused to allow them to talk to him until the baseball game that he was listening to was over. It should also be noted that the proposal took place at Friends Hospital. Friends Hospital is a place that has beautiful, beautiful flower gardens. And I believe that my father chose that location because he wanted Rosalie to know about all the sweetness that he was going to hopefully bring to her in her lifetime. It should also be noted that Friends Hospital is a place that is a mental hospital. And perhaps he was subconsciously also trying to communicate to her that her life might also contain some mishigas. Shortly after they were married, they moved to Logan and lived in an apartment. And then after that, Sam purchased a drugstore in Glen Olden, and they moved to Glen Olden and lived in a home right next to the drugstore. After that, they moved about 47 years ago to Wynwood, where they spent most of their years raising their children. Obviously, the characteristics that she had made her very, very loving and enduring. The characteristics that she developed as a child from her mother and her father also gave her tremendous strength. And one of the things that people may not realize is she's not only been a source of tremendous love for us in our lifetimes, she's also been the backbone of the family and a tremendous source of support and strength for us, both during terrific times and also during difficult times. So we're all very honored to be here today, to be in the company of this lovely, lovely woman. And to wish her a happy, happy birthday.
Okay.
Very well done.
Michelle?
Now Rosalie is going to show us a video, or I should say a presentation of photographs
Where do you want me to be?
that have been taken of Rosalie in her lifetime. And hopefully everyone can see.
I think you want to bring your chairs over a little bit, because if you're in the corners, you're not going to be able to see. I think you probably want to bring your chairs because it'll be a couple of minutes. So, goodbye.
Here's a couple of chairs here for anybody who needs.
They counted 84 adults here.
Is that true or not?
That's what I counted.
Did you count? That many days. Actually, 84 now, maybe 74. Yeah.
If he's done, is it all right for me to get up and speak? Or
Yeah,
is it-
yeah.
okay, no,
Just tell Buzz that you're gonna... He wants to do something
After
too.
you're done, I want to go.
And if anybody else... Yeah. What do you want me to do?
No, I'm just saying don't film right into the windows, because I
Oh,
always get the lights.
okay. Oh, all right. I'm being directed to go to the side so I don't get too much light.
Joshua? Joshua?
Okay. Next couple of minutes, we want to share some video or still images of Rosalie, and many of you are in many of these images. If anyone is not in any of these images, it's my fault. There's too many pictures to go sorting through. But anyway, this and this, by the way, is a picture of Rosalie and her parents and her brother. Rosalie and Daddy on the sidewalk. Rosalie and Daddy. Okay, this is Rosalie's cousins. I think it's like a family thing. Brother and the mother's on the right, and Sam and Rosalie, I think at a wedding just before their own wedding. Okay, this is Rosalie and Sam at their wedding. Rosalie's parents and Rosalie. This is a famous picture showing Sam's legs. That's why they got married in the summer early, so that Rosalie wasn't going to see her legs. This is honeymoon in the Bahamas. This is on the ship, I think, going or back. I don't know how to smile between the jet. This is Joy, it's the babies. Same thing, Joy, Rosalie, and Rosenberg. I think this is my Olden, right? It's an Olden house. There's Michelle in the picture with her thumb. Where's Joshua? Thumb. Okay. This is Sam, Rosalie, and Michelle. Early photo with Sam. Some people may recognize themselves in this picture. Joseph, who is the smiling one?
That was birthday party on her birthday.
Notice Joy and Jordan. This is in Israel when Rosalie and Sam came to visit Joy. This is apartment house. Boys entertaining. This is Niagara Falls. Good champions here in the backyard.
That was Amy's birthday.
This is Michelle's graduation. Is it from medical school? Yeah. Some front yard action. Sam got a little bolder with the shirt off. That's from Joe. Aunt Lil, right? And Rosalie and Bertha. This is the backyard of Rosalie's house. That's at Mark and Michelle's engagement dinner, pre-rehearsal dinner or something. Same night. That's at Joy's shower in Philadelphia. You may notice some funny Sam pictures. That's Jordan when he was just born, about an hour after he was born. That's at our old house, Sunday afternoon lunch. That's Jordan. That's up at our house up in the mountains. Rosalie always the camper. Down the beach, there's Richie and Joe and Jordan. Joey and Robin's wedding. Obviously, Joe in a gown. Nana used to sleep over our house. She loved the bunk bed, so we always jumped in. Another Sunday afternoon at our house. Sam, always a voracious eater. This is a party 10 years ago today almost for Rosalie's other special birthday. This is us all down in Disney World.
Jimmy with the muffin.
Joe and Robin.
Thank you, bro.
Rosalie had a little Jonathan, the last time he was fully dressed. This is at Jordan's bar mitzvah. Danny and Sahaba and Rosalie. There's several dinners. There's Richie's wedding.
And Marina. And Marina.
Some of the grandkids. Sam's bar mitzvah. There's a table here today. There's Harry and Rosalie both laughing about being my mother-in-law. By the way, their birthdays are the same day. The same day. Yearly excursions up to the mountain house. It's a good picture of the husband, but she's not right for the shot. Bike-a-thon, a year or two ago. Down the beach, all the girls. There's some of these odd pictures from children being held in the Joy with a good expression on her face. They're all over the kid's face. This is Alex's birthday, I think, this year, up at Chuck E. Cheese. Greatest kitchen, I guess. Mark and Michelle's backyard. And the newest addition to the family was
Oh, she.
this is Rosalie causing trouble with the airlines. There's Nana, Jordan, Sam, John, Daniel, Joshua, John. Alex.
You are so good. Good, quiet. Oh, hiccup, hiccup. I don't know if it's gonna. It's still running right now, actually. I don't know if it's gonna be perfect.
Go ahead.
All right. Sit down. Next up. Please be seated. That seems right. Thank you, everyone, for coming out today. I appreciate it. My mother appreciates it as well. I'm up here. I'm Joseph. I am Nana's youngest son, her fourth child. And in case you didn't know, Nana had 4 children. And how many grandchildren? 8 grandchildren. 8 grandchildren. What I found interesting growing up with my mother and father is my father taught me a lot about money, but my mother taught me a lot about time. And as I've grown up, I've realized as our lives become more and more fast-paced and how everyone just says they don't have enough time, how my mother always seems to have time for me, for our family, and for our friends, and as well for the grandchildren. And it's amazing, my son Joshua sits in front of a Sesame Street book, is mesmerized by Elmo and Sesame Street, and my mom calls, and he drops everything just to make time for Nana. Daniel, like me, has become a big sports fan and loves the Eagles. And the only difference, I guess, between him and myself is he will actually take a call from my mom during the Super Bowl, where I will refuse it. And I guess a good way to describe my mother, the way with her with time is, even when telemarketers, people call her during dinner time, she's not interested, but she still has time to talk to them about how their day was.
Some of them call after they've gotten discouraged from a few other callers just to talk to her again.
The other thing about my mother with time is she always will sit down with you and talk with you, and she'll always listen to you, and she will always, even if she doesn't agree with you, she'll at least support what you have to say. Although I can think of only one time in my life, in my entire life, where I think I did talk to her about something, she just couldn't see it my way, but somehow we moved on. In case you're wondering what that was, about 15 years ago, it was election day. You voted for one candidate, I voted for another, and I just...
And you're still wrong, Joe.
Till this day, I don't think you've forgiven me.
What is he, a Republican?
He voted for a Republican.
But I've learned the hard way. My wife Robin has pointed out to me that you pick your spouse, but you don't pick your mother-in-law. And I think I'll speak for Robin and all your other in-laws who would definitely agree that as far as picking a mother-in-law, you're number one.
Good mother-in-law.
And the last thing I'll ask is a favor from everyone else. I hope 10 years from today we can all come back here and for another special birthday of my mom's. Anything else, Rosalie? Well, we got a piece of paper here. We love you, Nana. Happy birthday.
It's for Daniel.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Love you, Nana. Happy birthday. Love Daniel and Joshua.
If anyone else wants to get up, no pressure, okay? But if anyone else wants to say something.
Just have it on the camera.
Oh, okay, hold on. Just identify who you are.
I'm Bernice Luber, a longtime friend of Rosalie's. And I just wrote a few words I'd like to say. I feel that I am very fortunate to have Rosalie as a friend. We have played bridge in the same group for 15 years. We have traveled together to Pittsburgh, Alaska, and this June we're going to Vermont. How lucky can you get to have Rosalie as a roommate? I was present at Rosalie's beautiful party 10 years ago and have full intention of being present at the next one in 10 years. Happy birthday, Rosalie, and many, many more.
How about Michelle? How about Michelle?
Where do you begin? I'm not good at speaking in these kinds of settings, but Nana, my mother, is the greatest, and we're so happy to be here to celebrate her wonderful, wonderful, special birthday. And this is a very happy occasion. We're happy that all of you are here to celebrate with us. Thank you.
Now the more articulate one.
What? You all have said it all. Rosalie, privilege and honor and loads of fun being part of this family and friend. You've got wonderful friends. You've got a wonderful circle of families. Look at all you people here today. You're wonderful. Thank you for coming. Thank you for celebrating with us. And I look forward to another 10 years. And from my lips to God's ears, even before 10 years from now, maybe next year.
81 years.
Zahava, you got to stand up if you're going to talk.
Oh my God!
Come on, let's go, everybody.
Okay. I'm talking for my husband, Danny, who's the brother
And you ever see a brother and sister never fighting about anything? That's how they are. Rosalie is always kind and nice. No arguments, no fights, right?
Is that because Danny was afraid of her?
I never heard her raising her voice. And a sister-in-law. How many people have he ever his sister-in-law who they never had one single fight with her? Nobody. So Rosalie, good luck.
I just want to say, I just like to say.
Come on, sit down, Rosalie. That's enough.
Thanks everybody for being here. And I know some people had other things that they had to make special arrangements so that they could come. And I appreciate it that you're all here today. And it's just perfect. The weather's beautiful, you're all beautiful. And thanks a million.
The one thing that I want to bring out is that not only were Rosalie and
You gotta talk louder.
not only were Rosalie and I college classmates, but our husbands were college classmates too. And we often had double dates that way. We'd go out together and we'd have so much fun. And Rosalie and I still get together with these other pen friends. We have such good times together. They're very precious. She's very precious.
Phoebe?
Well, I have to tell a funny story on Rosalie, how naive she was at one time.
You gotta talk a little louder.
We went together a couple years after college on a trip, part bus, part water, to Canada and back. It was a group trip, a bus and so forth. And as we were coming back from the Canadian border, the leader of the troop said, well, did everybody take out your IDs and your passports and so forth? And Rosalie looked around. I didn't even bring any ID. I didn't want to lose any. Everybody just looked. And he said, well, you're part of a group, so probably nobody will ask. Just if they ask to open your suitcase, open it, but keep quiet. I said, I'll vouch for her. Well, nobody asked anything, but now we're right back where we started. Now you have to have your passport, so you won't forget it again.
Okay.
No pressure to get up and speak. Just because your check is waived if you get up and speak doesn't mean you get up and say. Does anybody have any more funny stories, especially when Rosalie was a little younger?
Do you want to tell the story of Rosalie in the Rapids?
Oh yeah, I'll tell that story. There you go, Jay.
I got you.
About, and this is not right now. This is, I would say, about 10 years ago. That'd be about right, Mark? About 10 years ago, we decided to do a little outing. I don't know if you remember that shot that had us with Rosalie sitting next to a boat. Well, Rosalie decided that she was game for a canoe trip. And we went to the Pine Barrens, and it was Mark and Michelle, and was it Sam and Jonathan were born?
Yeah.
And Michelle and myself and Jane.
I wasn't there. I was working.
Jordan was there.
Yeah.
So we divided up into 2 canoes, and I took Rosalie in my canoe, and Jordan, I think, was in my canoe originally.
The kids were all in ours.
No, they switched though. Then Jordan got in the canoe with the helpers. Anyway, we started going through the Pine Barrens. It was a really nice day, but there had just been a big rainstorm about a day before, or 2 days before. And when it's a wide creek, it's not much of a problem because the water's pretty flat. But all of a sudden, the water stopped being flat, and it got very quick. And our canoe capsized. Okay? This was Rosalie 10 years ago from this special birthday. So she was a certain age, which we're not allowed to use the number. But anyway, Rosalie, she didn't panic at all. The water's like shooting by. I'm trying to right a canoe. The helpers, you were already downstream and you had no way to come back to help. And Rosalie's like kind of like walking in about, what is about waist-high water through trees, trying to get to a place where she could just stand until I could right the canoe. Then we got back in, and I think went smooth from there on. But it was
3 times.
we
3 times.
Yes, Michelle. She's saying it flipped 3 times. Well, obviously Rosalie didn't have the paddle skills. But anyway, Rosalie's always a gamer. Okay, she goes up to the mountains with us. She goes. Somebody's taking a family trip. She goes to California. She goes to Florida. She's always looking for a vacation. So when you talk about going on trips, that's not an unusual thing. She loves to travel.
She's going to Vermont.
She's going to Vermont, yeah. And she's a great person to travel with.
Yes.
Jordan told a boat trip story at one occasion, whether it was a wedding, when he was talking about how wonderful all of his relatives were and how happy he was going to be. He told some kind of a boat story. And
well, Jordan's always telling a story that always tells.
And he said how the food was in the capsized boat or something like that.
Oh yeah, that's when you lost your glasses.
I lost my glasses, we lost our lunch, but we didn't lose Rosalie's.
You tried.
I just want to say that Rosalie set an example for all her children how to live together nicely and get along nicely, love one another, and celebrate everything together.
Yeah, I actually kind of want to say a little bit, just to kind of represent my cousins and I just want to say that I've been like about 14 years, and all 14 years you've been a great grandmother to me, not literally, and also that I think that you've always been the kind of the voice in the back of my head telling me not to do whatever I was about to do. So thank you.
Yeah, I think I've only been around for like 20% of the 80 years, but through every encounter with Nana, I've never seen somebody be able to get so much done by saying so little. And Nana is just always so sweet and so kind to everyone that she talks to, and whenever she sees what needs to be done in the family, she's always able to just step in and very calmly and smoothly sort out whatever needs to be done. And she's a great matriarch in the family, and we're all very lucky to be around her. We love you, Nana.
Amen.
I
stand up, Sam.
I think that they said it pretty well. I agree with everything they said, and I enjoyed this birthday party, and I look forward to celebrating many more. Spending a lot of time with my grandmother, Nana, and thank you guys for all being here, and see you hopefully next year.
Well, if we don't do the cake soon, Nana's going to have to go play 18 holes of golf with me. Rosalie, you want to go over the cake?
Actually, or should we bring it?
Yeah, we have to sing.
Somebody have a camera? Still a camera?
Yeah, I've got one over here.
I think I have a camera over on that. Just hold on 1 second, James. Just unplug it.
Happy
birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Rosalie. Happy birthday to you. Yeah. Yeah, no.
There's a picture. There's one for each grandchild. And that's special.
No, Joshua, let Nana look at it first.
Well, how about if each child brings out one?
I'll be hard, Rosalie.
Can all help.
You
Sasha, you want to help?
gonna go over there, Sasha?
Okay.
Can we get the big boys in there too, the big grandchildren?
Jordan, Sam.
Sure. Wait, where's Elizabeth?
Get in there.
Can we get Elizabeth or is she sleeping?
Yeah, Elizabeth. No, she's not.
Yay! All right, well,
Do you want Elizabeth's picture?
we have a little bit of a tradition which I'm going to have some help on. Okay, here you go. And eventually, this will get larger and larger. It's a movement, but it's a birthday song. So Jordan, you got to be in with it.
I don't support this.
Yes,
I don't know.
ready?
Joy knows this.
Joy knows it too. Ready? So 2, 3. It's your birthday. It's not ours. We sing to you. Boom, boom, boom. It's your birthday. It's not ours. We sing to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you.
Now there's a hole for each grandchildren. Where the candles were.
They're gonna cut it.
Oh, okay. Okay. Hopefully
Oh, we get the